one.
Game one, Saturday, noon Eastern. Number 9 Baylor at Texas inside the KD Center. You can watch it on ESPN. KenPom has it Baylor -2. Will we have a second straight horns down controversy? Ooh, who knows?
In that building, I think that Scott Drew, if he felt like he had to tell his team not to do it, he would tell them not to do it. But let's be real. The funniest thing about all of this, and if you're not tuned in real quick, UCF won at Texas earlier this week at Texas, and as the team prepared to enter the handshake line, you had UCF players right there on the court, like in arm's reach of Texas players, just giving them the horns down. Just
you're doing the horns down. Somebody's gonna. Right Matthew McConaughey gonna be at your house any second, ready to fist fight you. I think it is hilarious.
So good.
How offended.
I know. That's what
Texas
so
people
funny.
get.
They get so
that's the
angry.
funniest part.
The world just thinks like it's whatever.
I think it's the funniest thing in the world how offended they get by a horns down gesture. I think it's hilarious that you could make them want to fight you just by doing that.
Oh.
Like, is there any gesture somebody could do to you that would make you want to fight them on sight?
I'm a lover, not a fighter. So a gesture, definitely not. There is a gesture. It could not happen.
I know. Okay. Me neither. No. All right. You could double bird me. No. You could double bird me, do whatever you want to, and I would just like look at you. It would not immediately make me want to fist fight you. But if you do horns down in the presence of a Longhorn, it might go down. It might go down right. That's so funny to me.
The thing is, like, and listen, so many people like Rodney Terry, and I'm not bailing on Rodney Terry, Texas coach. I know some Texas fans are ready to do that already. But he was so earnest in the post game press conference about how you don't do that. Man, everyone just thinks this is funny. Okay. And it only makes it funnier the more that Texas people resist it. All right. You just need to embrace the fact that when you get beat, they're going to horns down your ass. Okay. It's going down.
Oh,
down.
Buddy, Vince Young is going to show up and hit you right in your throat. Oh, who is that? Who's that at your front door? Oh, it's Vince Young, ready to murder you.
Oh man, horns down. Thank you, Texas, for giving us some genuine entertainment earlier.
I just think that if you can allow a stranger's hand gesture to infuriate you,
you've already lost.
That says something about you. That says something about you.
Already lost. Texas is 1-3 in the Big 12. It's 12-5 overall. It's lost 3 of its past 4, and it very easily could have / should have lost against Cincinnati. So that's the only thing preventing this in the past 4 games from being a 5-alarm fire here. I am taking Baylor. I'm taking Baylor. I think you had Baylor -2 in here. I'll have them to win the game outright and to cover that number. One of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, coming off a very close shave loss against K-State. This feels close to a toss-up. This is an urgent moment for Texas, and it's got the capacity to win it, but I just haven't seen it yet. I'll go with the Bears.
I'm worried about Texas, and it's got nothing to do with hand gestures. They're 1-3 in the Big 12 now, and they've had one of the easier – no such thing as an easy Big 12 schedule, but they've had one of the easier 4-game starts to a Big 12 schedule, and they went 1-3 against it. Texas Tech at home, you're supposed to win that game. At Cincinnati, maybe Cincinnati's legitimate. You won that one, so that's nice. You got it back. But then at West Virginia, if you're going to win a road game in the Big 12, you got to go get that one. And then at home to UCF, you can't. That's not one you can lose at home. So 1-3, and you've already played two of your first 4 Big 12 games were against 2 of the worst teams in the Big 12. Texas season might not go where you want it to go, Deadlay.
It's not heading toward the NCAA tournament right now. Wins like this one, that makes it a reality. Texas loses here, they'll have plenty of opportunities to bounce back. But, in fact, I want to give a shout here. I saw this from Andrew Weatherman. Texas right now, let me bring this up. Number of quad 1 games remaining on the schedule. Texas has 11 quad 1 games left. It's the most in the country right now. In the Big 12, it's the most, obviously. So they've got a lot of opportunities. Also means the slope of the schedule is really tough. If you're curious in the Big 12, BYU has the fewest with 7 quad 1 games left. So a lot of opportunity, but you got to win against Baylor because a lot of those games you're just not going to win. They have time to make up for it on the back end, but if they can't beat Baylor here, I think I'm officially on. I'm in the camp that Texas won't be dancing in 24 if it doesn't beat Baylor on Saturday.
I'm taking Baylor -2.
We're on the same page.
Game 2, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Rhode Island at number 21 Dayton inside Obi Toppin Arena. You can watch it on USA Network.
USA.
Yeah, just like what was that show we used to watch on USA Network? Mr. Robot. Did you ever watch Mr. Robot?
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good call. I didn't finish the series. I watched I think 2 seasons, and then it's not like I intentionally bailed, but I just never picked it back up.
Same. Like I think I got to the final season, and then I was like, man, my head hurts. I was like, man, I can't be.
Yeah, but why did you stop watching Mr. Robot?
My head was hurting. That was the first part. And then it was just like, man, I shouldn't have to think this much. I shouldn't have to think this much. I'm just trying to lay here and relax.
I just want to lay down, man.
I just want to lay down and relax, man. And this thing is
too many neurons. Yep, that's
problem. Yeah. I don't need to be thinking this much trying to watch TV. So that's the last. So I watch Monday Night. I watch Monday Night Raw on USA Network. Right. So
now you're gonna watch Dayton URI on USA.
You're damn right I am. Obi Toppin Arena. KenPom has it Dayton -15. So it's a big number. I only bring this up because I was asked in studio earlier this week. I want to ask you the question.
Yes.
Because 2020, Dayton was on a 20-game winning streak and projected to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, led by a first-team All-American in Obi Toppin.
Potential National Player of the Year, Obi Toppin.
That's right. Well,
he was the National Player of the Year for CBS Sports that season.
That's right. Well, now here we are again. Dayton, clear class of the Atlantic 10, undefeated in the league, long winning streak. And I don't know if they have a legitimate Player of the Year candidate in Deron Holmes, if only because Zach Edey right now is really the only Player of the Year candidate. Right. Unless he gets hurt, he's going to be your National Player of the Year, it appears.
Yes.
But Deron Holmes is performing at a level that makes him a first-team All-American candidate for sure. And so the question was, what's the ceiling for Dayton from a seed perspective for the NCAA tournament? They're 3-2 right now in Quadrant 1, 3-0 in Quadrant 2, so 6-2 in the first 2 quadrants, with both losses coming in Quadrant 1. They've got losses to Houston and Northwestern. So one really good team and another team that's beaten a really good team. They've got wins over St. John's and SMU, 19th in the net, 33rd at KenPom, 4th in KPI, 5th in strength of record.
Stuff.
What do you think is the ceiling?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up for the team that I believe I had rated higher than anyone in the preseason. I had Dayton top 25 overall, and they're certainly been up to that. Deron Holmes, real quick, 19.4 points, 7.7 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and he's shooting 56% from the field, 43.6% from three-point range. Reminder, he's a 6'10 forward. If anything, maybe it's his age. I don't think he's getting quite enough draft buzz. I think he would be a tremendous player to take a flyer on, pun very much intended there, late first round. We'll get to that, obviously, in the offseason. Dayton's going to get picked off somewhere here. It's not going to be Saturday at home, but I'm glad you picked this game because I like when we take a little bit of a detour here on the Final 4 and 1. The Flyers are worth a little bit of talk here and will be worth more if they can keep this up going forward. I'm going to say 3 seed feels like the ceiling, and if it's going to be a 3 seed, they can probably lose. I bet you they could they lose twice and get a 3? Probably not, actually. If they lose one more time, I think a 3 seed would be in the mix there, but they're going to have to do that. They're definitely the class of the A10. If anything, the A10 needs Dayton to roll through and then get upset in the title game so it can be a 2-bid lead. Right now, Richmond's the other undefeated team in the league. It's 12-5 overall, but there's no one in Dayton's neighborhood. It has become their league and their league alone. Everyone else is playing for a distant second overall. Good on Anthony Grant to pull this out. Although I will say this, Dayton as a program, and there's, this goes with Brian Gregory, of course, Oliver Pennell, Archie Miller. If you really look over the course of its program's history, and Dayton fans know this well, and that's why they rightfully believe that, they're one of the the best mid-majors in the country from a historical perspective. They're good not just for tournament runs, but they are good for seasons with 25, 26, 28 plus wins. So we are seeing Dayton just be Dayton this year again. And it's not a huge surprise. They brought back enough. And by the way, they're doing this, and they haven't even had a fully healthy roster this year. So for them to be able to continue to dominate, I think is certainly notable there. The line is 15. That's big. Archie Miller in year 2 at Rhode Island, they're 9-8. They just got destroyed by St. Bonaventure on Wednesday night. I will take Dayton to cover. 15 is a big number, but Dayton's really good, and Rhode Island is just whatever this season. So I will go Dayton there. And I think it is important for Dayton to continue to try and rack up big wins by big margins if it can. You mentioned that the KPI and the strength of record, that's going to be the thing that gets them a high seed more than where they sit in the predictives, because that tells you versus the schedule they've played relative to how good they've been. One more quick thought on Dayton here. Let me bring up their Torvik wins above bubble. I'm going to say, if you're telling me that, I'm going to say Dayton's got to be top 10 in wins above bubble. Right now, Dayton is 4th. It has the 4th most wins as would be expected against a bubble team. The only teams that have played better against the schedule, according to wins above bubble, is Purdue, UConn, and Kansas, and then it's Dayton. Then it's Carolina, then it's Houston, then it's San Diego State. That tells you all you need to know. With that in mind, I'm amending my answer. If Dayton runs the table, which won't happen, it would be a 2 seed. If it loses one game, I still think if it only loses one more game, it's a 3-loss team, Dayton would have a case as the final 2 seed, but a 3 seed's probably most likely in that scenario.
Archie Miller coaching back at Dayton. Does anybody care?
That's a good call, GP. I should have put 2 and 2 together. I don't know if, they care there. They care there, and he's mostly beloved. Understandably, he took the Indiana job. I don't think they begrudge him that much. I don't think he's not gonna get booed, right? I don't think
I never know how fans are gonna react.
Right.
I would not boo Archie Miller, but Archie and I are best friends, as Indiana fans will tell you. So of course I wouldn't boo him.
Of course. That's really that's the reason why you put this in the Final Four one.
That's right. But despite all that, I will also take Dayton minus the 15.